Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm nervous.
I know, this is the first time that Rose and I haven't told you anything about anything.
I know. You guys kept it so secret for no reason.
Not
Not
for
for
no
no reason.
reason.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast. We are your three favorite book besties. My name is Carlos.
And I'm Lauren.
And I'm Rose.
And today, we are finally diving into my 5-star read, which
Finally.
is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson.
Woo!
I told you it was going to happen. It was going to happen.
Yes, I've been trying to get Rose and Lauren to read this for so long, and finally it happened.
Here we are.
So, Mistborn takes place in a world where 1,000 years ago there was a fight between good and and evil won, and the Lord Ruler has now been ruling over Scadrial for 1,000 years. And we meet our group of misfits who all specialize in different things, and they're coming together now to take down this empire and possibly kill the Lord Ruler who is immortal. So they need to also figure out how to do that. That's kind of the main premise of it, and then obviously it dives deeper into other things.
I don't even know what we're going to start with first. What should we...
Okay, so first I think we should do let's do like a spoiler free, like, what did you think?
Yeah, because I feel like this is going to be a book that potentially a lot of people have on their TBR if they haven't already read it. So this will be a good time for us to not do spoilers just yet, kind of give them the feel of what we thought and if they should also read this book. And then we'll go into some spoilers. So
Yeah.
So this was my second time reading it. I've read the whole trilogy. I will say the second time reading it, you definitely notice a lot more things now knowing how the story ends, and like going back and reading that were like hidden in there and like little Easter eggs. Um so I think I enjoyed it more the second time. Even like knowing what was gonna happen at the end, the twist or whatever. And I also did audiobook for the second time, and the audio was also really good. So, I mean, it was still a 5 stars for me.
yeah, I would say for me, I did not read the synopsis or anything going into this book. I just fully dove in. I kept switching between reading it on my Kindle and audiobook. And the audio was so good. It wasn't
So good.
like too much, because normally I don't love to read fantasies or like listen to fantasies because it's just a lot of information. But I feel like this narrator did a really good job of, I don't know, like the pacing just felt really good. So it wasn't like info dumpy. It was very easy to follow, even as an audiobook. I enjoyed my time. I won't spoil too much, but I enjoyed my time.
Okay. I also did audio and ebook. I will say, for like the first maybe 80 pages, I was a bit confused on the ska. I was like, so are they not human? I was a bit confusion.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but after that I was fine. I love the characters, all the characters. I was literally nervous the entire time that like somebody was going to betray the group. Like I feel like the whole time my tummy hurt, but I enjoyed my time. I don't know how much I can say without spoiling my thoughts of things that happened,
Yeah.
but it was fun.
Yeah. I will say, and Carlos, I don't know how you're going to react to this, but in my head, it's really a good thing. Don't give
Okay.
me that face. I know you're preparing for
Okay.
something. To me, this book reminded me a lot of Red Queen, but in a good way.
Okay.
Because, like, Vin is, a ska, and Mare was part of the stilts, like the lowest of the low, essentially, and then comes into this fake royalty situation, and then falling for a noble that, is supposed to be the better of the bunch.
I feel like always when you read a book, you always compare it to something you've read in the past that you've really liked.
Mhm.
So I feel like
True.
that's fair for you to compare it to Red Queen.
Also, I accidentally spoiled myself
Of
for
course.
the
Not
future books.
surprised. Not surprised. It's okay. I'll probably but at the end I'll probably give a little bit of spoilers
Okay, please, please, because
if you guys are down.
I want them. Because I was like, I was scared that one of the characters that I really, really liked, pretty much my favorite character. I don't know, top two, top two.
I wonder if we have the same favorite character.
I don't know, but I was so scared that they were gonna die.
I do have like a favorite like they were my favorite character from the very beginning all the way till the end.
Wait, should we say favorite characters now or later?
We'll wait.
Okay, okay.
We have to introduce the characters first.
True, true. Okay, okay.
Our main gal is Vin, and it starts out with just her kind of in this bandit group, I guess, right? They're like just a
Yeah.
group of robbers.
Yeah, so it starts off with her under this ska that's pretending to be a nobleman to kind of steal from other noblemen. He keeps Vin around because she's his good luck charm, kinda. So at the very beginning, we don't really know what her power is, but she knows she has something and she calls it her luck, which she uses whenever K-Man is his name, is trying to make a deal with a nobleman and it's not really going his way. She uses her luck to kind of change his mind. And that's like the way that she's been kept safe because K-Man needs her.
You get these little bits and pieces of her trauma with her brother as well. Her brother has left her, and it was this weird relationship where he was like kind of keeping her safe, but also kind of like not being a loving brother. Like he was always talking down to her. And so there's like these little trauma moments kind of sprinkled into the book as well with her brotherly figure. So essentially, she doesn't have really any family anymore. This thieving group is kind of her found family.
And enter Kelsier.
So
Yes,
well actually
Kelsier.
the book does start off with Kelsier
Yeah, true.
where he's in a plantation um and he's basically talking to this group of ska trying to get them to rebel against K-Men. No, sorry, not K-Men. What's fuck, I don't remember his name.
Trusting.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
trying to get them to rebel against Trusting, but obviously there has been rebel groups in the past and they've never worked out, so they're very skeptical of it. But he ends up killing all the noblemen in that place, and then that kind of sparks interest in the rebellion from the ska.
And there's like this whole lore behind the Mistborn, and people are afraid to go out at night because of the mist, and they think that there are like mist wraiths. And so when this man just kind of appears out of the mist, everyone's like, what the fuck's going on? Like, this is kind of crazy. Do we trust him? And he was like, you're gonna trust me. And they were like, okay, maybe.
Not me literally writing, can we actually trust Kelsier? I hope so.
Oh.
See? So it was working.
Yeah.
It was working.
Should we explain the magic system?
Yeah, you go for that because I low-key had to look up like what does this mean? What are they mean by doing this? Like I literally wrote in here, I like this chapter because it's explaining.
From my understanding, they use the elements for different metals. And what they call it is burning it. So like they can manipulate the power from the metals, and then depending on which metal is burned, they can do different things.
Right. So for example, if they eat pewter, they can burn the pewter to gain strength. Or if they burn, I don't remember which one attributes to which, but like for example, bronze, they can like push on metal. Iron, they can pull on metal. I don't know if those are actually like the metals, but whatever. Just an example. So Marsh has the ability to sense other people's metals if they're burning it. So he senses Vince burn of metal, but he senses multiple metals being burnt. And usually an Allomancer can only burn one. Unless you're a Mistborn, then you can burn all 10. Yeah, all 10. So that's how they find Vin. and Marsh tells Kelsier about her, and then Kelsier goes and recruits Vin for the mission.
I will say, Brandon Sanderson's attention to detail was like almost too much for my brain at times, because there were moments where he like really dove into like the different metals and explaining what like, well, if you burn this one and this one at this same time, then this happens. And it was just like too much sometimes. I'm like, bro, if you would have just said that she burned that and it did this, I would have been like, yep.
You're like, okay, got
That's
it.
how it happened. That's how it happened. But he was like going down to a science, like
Yeah.
nitpicking. But I feel like there are some fans that would have nitpicked. So
Yeah, well, that's kind of how it works with hard magic systems, because if not, then the author can kind of work their way around it. But with hard magic systems, there's like set rules that this has to happen for this to happen.
yeah.
So I feel like, yeah, that's why he had to go into detail to explain everything. So there wasn't any holes there.
And I get that. It was just funny because it's like after like a little mini paragraph like explaining the science behind it, my brain was just kind of like, I would have believed you, man. No matter what, I would have believed you.
Oh, I liked it. I feel like it helped me so much more. I liked also that he kept repeating what each metal did, because I forgot what each metal did literally right after it happened.
Yeah.
So I'm glad.
I was gonna move on to introduce Kelsier's crew.
Yeah, do
Or
that.
Rose, do you want to?
Do you remember Kelsier's crew?
Well, it was Yeadon, right? Is that how you say his name? He's
Yeet.
the one.
Yeet, yeet, yeet.
Yeadon is the one that like kind of brought everyone together, right?
Yeadon is the one that hired Kelsier.
Hired. Okay. Yeah, hired him to have this plan. Someone else explain that.
Basically this big rebellion.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
their plan is to, I mean, the bigger plan is to take back the empire. But then Kelsier's kind of side quest is he just wants to straight up kill the Dark Lord, and
The
everyone's
Not
Lord
kind of
the
like,
Ruler.
Dark Lord.
The
the
Lord
Dark
Ruler.
Ruler.
The Lord Ruler. The Dark Lord.
Is the Dark Lord in the room with us now?
Oh my god.
Is he
The
not
Dark
a Dark Lord though?
I mean, low
yes.
key, at the end, I was a little scared of him. Like,
He is kind of scary.
Kelsier wants to kill the Lord Ruler, and everyone's kind of like, good luck with that, but
yeah.
bigger plan, let's at least just take back what we deserve.
Yeah, so there's two, what would you call it? Like there's the nobleman and then there's the ska. Those are the only, I don't know, what do you call it?
Like
Why
the
can't I think of the word?
classes.
Yeah, classes, I guess. So there's two different classes. There's the nobleman and the ska, and those are like the only two. Like there's nothing in between. You're either a nobleman or you're a ska. And the nobleman can't breed with the ska, and if they have sex with the ska, they have to kill, or like if a man has sex with a woman, they have to kill the woman's ska so that they don't bear any children, because we don't want any crossbreeding.
And the noblemen are like the only ones that can like have allomancy, right?
Allomancy, right?
And like their bloodline is the only thing that will.
Yeah, so if there's ever a ska with allomancy, which we find out that Vin and that whole crew, they all have allomancy, so they're all half noblemen, half ska. So we have Yeadon. Who else?
Dox. What's his full
Doc.
name?
Doxson.
Doxson.
Yes, we have Doxson, who doesn't have any allomancy, but he knows where to get things. Like if they need weapons, he knows where to find them. If they need this, he knows where to find it. So he's kind of like he's like Kelsier's right hand man when it comes to that.
Isn't there another guy? Not the little 15-year-old, 14, 15-year-old, not him.
Oh yeah, I forget what his name was.
Clubs.
Clubs.
Oh, and Ham.
Ham.
Yeah, we do have Ham. We have Clubs. We have Breeze.
Oh yeah, Breeze. He was the other emo one, right?
Breeze is like the funny one.
Yeah. But he like could play with people's emotions or like
Yes.
tamper them down. Yeah. In my head, I was like, oh, so emo.
Not so emo.
And then we have Ham, who is he can burn pewter to get strong. And then we have Clubs, who's a smoker who can hide allomantic pulses.
Their little hideouts are shielded.
Yeah, so that they can't be detected. Um, who else do we have? Well, we have his Club's nephew Spook, who's a tin eye, he can like enhance his senses to like hear better or see better. And then we have Marsh, who's Kelsier's brother, who isn't really like there most of the time,
Yeah.
but towards the end he does show up a bit more, and he's working in the background becoming an inquisitor.
Wild.
That happened at literally the very end.
Yeah.
Okay.
I forgot. Oops, spoiler.
Oopsies.
So yeah, that's the crew.
Basically, Vin is kind of recruited onto this little team after they inform her that they know what she can do, and they kind of take her from Cayman's grasp, essentially.
I like the little scene where was Kelsier the one that was writing like who's gonna do what?
Uh-huh.
I like that scene because it was reminding me of like Mean Girls when they were planning on taking down Regina George.
I'm
So I was
fucking
thinking,
dead.
I was thinking about the Lord Ruler
Please.
as Regina George.
Another Dark Lord. Regina George.
No shot.
I just love how Kelsier, like, despite Vin's, distrust at the beginning, like, he just really takes her under his wing and is trying to teach her about Allomancy and all that stuff. I mean, she definitely dives a little too deep into it straight away, where she's like following him and kind of getting herself into these situations that aren't the safest. But yeah, like you said at the beginning, she doesn't trust him. So she just kind of is following him and seeing like, oh, okay. So he's not like a weirdo. He seems like a good guy. And then she starts reciprocating the help and all that stuff, which I really like that. So
Thoughts, Rose?
I said, I love Vin. The fact that a teenage girl is stronger than everyone else, take that patriarchy.
Period.
But then I don't know what chapters I wrote these at. It was before chapter 12 because I wrote something in chapter 12. Still a bit confusion on how allomancy works. So I guess those are my thoughts pre chapter 12.
Okay.
like when Kelsier was teaching Vin how to like do, I forget what metal it was, but whatever first one that he's like teaching her how to burn, and she says that the world just like opens up. Oh, I think it's tin, right?
Well, they're called tin eyes, so I think tin.
Yeah, so like basically the world just like opens up, becomes better, like she can see better, hear better, and she just feels like elevated. Literally my first thought while reading that, I was like, "Damn, this is kind of like when I took Lexapro for the first time." Like
Please.
I can see clearly now.
literally, I was like, "Anxiety gone? Is this real life?" Like I was like, okay, pro pharmacy, pro pharmaceuticals, let's go.
Lexapro sponsor? What?
Yeah. And then I also really liked how they could use the metal with like the stakes in the ground if they wanted to like kind of fly, but not
Yeah, they
really.
like push off of it.
Yeah. Well, they in the city they would carry the pouch of coins, so we would
Hmm.
toss the coin on the ground and push off the coin to like fly, and that's how they would get around the city faster. And then later we come to meet Demu.
Demu or Renew?
Lord Renew,
Yeah, Vin has to pretend her role in all this. She has to pretend to be his niece.
which
Yes.
again was very Red Queen. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's where we meet Sazed, because Sazed is his fuck, why can't I think of what they're called?
His steward,
Keeper. Oh yeah,
keeper.
steward. But he's a keeper.
Yeah, he's a terraceman.
And their job is basically to keep history alive.
I feel like at first I was a little confused because he was really just talking about like different religions, and he was telling Vin about like a certain religion, and then he was
Mhm.
telling Kelsier about like a whatever religion and all that. So I was like, okay, is he like a religious guy? But then they explained what
Yeah,
he
so that's
does.
his specialty. He keeps religions alive, basically, the memory of them at least,
But then it's sad because he doesn't really know like a lot about his own religion.
because the Lord Ruler has erased it from history, basically.
Can we talk about Vin's first of all ball?
Yeah, do you want to?
I don't know. I just wanted to talk about Elend, but
Could that be your favorite character?
Remember we didn't vote for Ellen in the
I
boyfriend
know,
bracket?
dude.
Oh,
Dude, I
I
forgot
can't.
about that. And then I was like, oh my
Ah,
gosh. Whenever she first meets him, I'm like, this name sounds so familiar. Why does this sound familiar? And then low-key, I spoiled myself on that too.
Oh my
stop.
god.
Wait, what did you find out? I kind of want to know.
Well, I don't want to tell Lauren.
It's so funny because I had that same reaction. I think I was folding laundry. I was like listening to the book at this point. I was folding laundry, and all of a sudden they said something about House Venture, and I literally like was doing my thing, and I went, "Oh, that's this book. I forgot." I was like, "Oh
That's
shit."
this book.
Yeah, I was like, "Ooh, we're gonna learn more about who Carlos was ready to fall on a sword for."
Dang, justice for Ellen.
I
Justice for
forget who he
Ellen.
went up against though.
Me too.
But he only gets better throughout the series, honestly. Like by the third book, oh my god, he's the best. You guys, I hope you guys continue the series.
We'll see.
But yeah, the ball, we meet Ellen. Um, he's sitting at a table just reading his books, being a book girly.
As he is.
And then Vin comes up and she just like sits at his table, right?
Yeah, they have like kind of an awkward interaction.
She like didn't want attention or something, and then he was like still giving it to her because he was like half reading, half talking to her, and she was like, literally just read your book. And he was like, I can multitask. And she was like, ugh, wink.
Okay, however, though, I literally wrote this down. I was like, not me forgetting that she's literally 16 and he's like 21, but you
Different
know.
times, different times.
Yeah.
Is he 21?
I thought it said he was 21.
Maybe. I don't remember.
Listen, I'm sure by the time they like really get together, she'll be 18 because she turned 17 in this book. So
So who else do we meet in the ball? We meet Shan.
gag. I don't think we meet her at the first one.
Shan Ilariel.
Shenanigan.
Were you guys shook at the twist? Where you find out
Yes,
that Shan Ilariel?
I literally wrote, oh, Shan is a mistborn? Wait, no, right before that I said, not them trying to kill Ellen, cry face.
Oh yeah, they sent assassins after him.
Yeah.
And his dad totally played it down and was like, yo, no, it's fine.
I hate his dad.
His dad's
Yeah.
the worst.
Straff Venture.
But Elend also has like a little book club. He's a little book club girly.
Yeah.
And they all talk about like ethics essentially and like
Politics.
Yeah, politics.
What they want the future to look like.
I was like, ooh, men in STEM.
And when Vin overhears them, she tells Kelsier, but Kelsier doesn't believe her. Or he's like, yeah, they do that all the time, but they're not actually gonna do anything ever.
Yeah, because she was shook when a Venture was talking to someone from House Hastings because they're supposed to be like enemies or, you know, not on good terms. And Kelsier was like, ugh, that's just Ellen trying to make his dad mad. Like, don't look too much into it. And Vin was like, he's not like other guys, okay?
And he really wasn't.
Oh, let's talk about Mare. Kelsier's whole
Oh,
kind of like
Mare.
reasoning for being who he is.
Do you guys remember what happened with Mare?
Yeah, we're like made to believe that she betrayed Kelsier and that she was the one that told the Lord Ruler about something. I don't remember what she supposedly told him. But the Lord Ruler was like, thank you to her.
Yeah.
And then they like beat her to death. Literally.
They threw them into the pits of Hathsin, which Kelsier survived So now they call her the survivor of Hathsin. He has all these scars.
Yeah, and Allomancers have this moment where what is it called when they snapped?
They snap. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, and it's basically like their normal 1 second and then some event, normally traumatic, is the moment where their powers kind of snap into place and they're like awakened in a way. And that was Kelsier's snap moment when Mare was killed and he was just in the pits fighting for his life. He was
yeah.
like, powers.
There's one night that happens where Kelsier is planning on going to Creedic Shaw to finish the job that he started. I think he's
Mhm.
trying to find out where the ATM stash is. So he goes to Creedic Shaw, and Vin. That's when Vin follows him and goes with him. But once they get there, they find out that there's some Inquisitors already waiting for them,
Mhm.
and that's when they
Yeah.
start like they literally almost kill Vin, but then
Yeah.
someone comes to the rescue, which is my favorite
Ba-ba-da-da.
character.
He's also my favorite
I knew
character.
it. I knew it.
Oh,
Isn't he
literally, that's what
so
I.
good?
Yes, that's what I got spoiled on because I was like, please tell me he doesn't die.
Wait. Who's your favorite character? Who is
Oh,
this?
Sazed.
Sazed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. So he comes and he saves. Well, at first you don't know. It's like the Inquisitor was about to kill Vin, and then he like flies back, and someone picks her up, and they dip.
yeah, and she's like something about his face being familiar but like gentle or whatever. And then they see like the group if goes back to the group and they just see like a cloaked body carrying like
Walking in.
someone and then they're like Sazed and I'm like he saved her.
I need to give you guys spoilers at the end of this.
I'm so scared.
But yeah, and then she's out of commission for like a couple weeks because she has to heal, and she starts getting restless, and she wants to go back out there.
And she's not allowed to go to balls, right?
Yeah, no, she's
Yeah.
not. Yeah, and then she's like, "Wait, why do I want to go to this ball? Like, this isn't me.
I
Like, who am
wonder.
I?"
Valette is taking over.
She's like, wait, they're kind of fun. And like, I get to talk to Ellen. That's like, ew, but I also hate
Yeah.
him, you know? I'm like, do you, girl? Do you? Me with Vernon. Oh my God.
Girl.
Oh, literally, Brandon.
It was just funny whenever Spook gave her his handkerchief. And she was
That's
like,
right.
"What is this lacy thing that he just gave me?"
And Kelsier was like, you're being courted, girl. And she was like, no.
No thanks.
Literally. She's like, "He's 15. Girl, how old are you?"
She's like, I need someone, I don't know, 21?
Oh,
Oh,
I need an
oh.
older man.
Well, we get a couple more moments with Shan.
Oh, right, because she was her little informant.
We find out that Shan is Kelsier's. They were supposed to get married. Oh no, sorry, not Kelsier. Ellen.
Ellen.
They were supposed to get married, but it
Hmm,
ended up not happening. And I think Shan is like kind of salty. And now that she's
for
seeing
sure.
Vin with Ellen, she's like trying to figure out what's going on. She like sends her steward to spy on what books he's reading.
Yeah, I hate her.
Yeah, she's just like your classic, like, mean ex-girlfriend.
And she makes Vin call her like my ladyship or whatever.
Oh yeah, it's so weird.
Girl.
It reminds me of whenever I was in trouble, my dad would make me call him sir, and I was like, when have I ever called you sir? What are you, a
Not
duke? I'm not calling you
sir.
sir. And he was like, it's a
So-
sign of respect. I was like, we're fighting. I don't respect you right now. Like, what?
We're in a fight.
My ladyship. No.
oh, we end up getting introduced to the rebels, like the ska that are being taken to the caves. So we do
Oh
go visit the
yeah.
caves at one point, and Kelsier kind of gives them hope that they can win, even though they probably can't. But he like kind of uses Allomancy to make like the smaller guy win against this other guy that's like bigger than him. And they're like, "Oh my god, you can share your power with us. Like we're strong. Like we can do this." And then when they try to go out on like a little mission, they end up all getting slaughtered because he gave them false hope.
That was so sad. But that was like high key the plan. And it's kind of depressing. He was like,
Yeah.
"Well, they're all gonna die against the garrison." Is that what the
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was just I don't know. That was really sad. He was like, "They're all dead. The army's dead."
Yeah, and he essentially wanted to just make them not fear anymore. It was like just a sort of, if you're gonna go down, you're gonna go down fighting and with like hope in your heart rather than just it being a full blown slaughter, which it was anyway. But
Yeah, and then they end up giving up on most of the army. Are they do they keep recruiting? I don't remember actually.
I feel like no, because Yeadon also died. I feel like they like his kind of Kelsier's crew. I don't think wanted to keep recruiting Scott. Right?
mm-mm.
They were kind of like, "Damn, everyone's dead."
Yeah, because I remember it was either Docs or Breeze that was like, yeah, like it was a good run. Like they were basically ready to give up in that moment. Like, let's just counter losses. It was a really good idea. I thought we could do it, but let's just go back to being like a little thieving crew because that's what was working before.
I don't forget what happens to like bring them back in. Oh,
Well, something big.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna read you my notes, and this is the only reason I know the order is because of this. I said, not them trying to kill Elend. Oh, Shan is a Mistborn. R.I.P. Marsh. So
Oh,
Marsh dies
Oh,
next.
yeah.
That was so sad. I don't even remember like why they went to wherever that was. Like, where was he?
So he was infiltrating the fuck. What are they called? It's not the Inquisitors. It's
The
the other group, the
obligators.
Obligators, because he was trying to become an Obligator, and I think they assumed that they found him out, and that's why they killed him. And I think they were going there because Marsh left them a note, like "Meet me here." But once they got there, like his body, he was just like there was just blood everywhere.
Blood everywhere. They were like, there's no way that this much blood is just from one body. Like, it was
yeah.
that bad.
Oh, Lauren, I was gonna ask you, what did you think of Vince's training arc? Because she trains with Kelsier, and then
Hmm.
Kelsier sends her to Ham, and then sends her to Breeze to also train. Did you find any of that boring, or did you like it?
Yeah, no, I wasn't bored. I wasn't bored with it. Because y'all know how I feel about training arcs, but this one
Yeah,
Yeah.
was done in a way where it still kept me interested.
it did feel more like a montage.
And like the little moments where she like goes out with Kelsier for different things, I feel like that in itself is kind of a training arc
Yeah,
as well. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, because she's learning a lot, and I mean, it's kind of like a fight or flight moment a lot of the time, but sometimes that's the best way to learn. So yeah, and Kelsier knew no matter what he was going to try, she was still going to follow him. So it
yeah.
was
Hmm.
kind of like, well, now you're going to learn. You're going to do it real time like me. So,
And I do also like how she slowly like levels up throughout the book. Like when
mhm.
later
Yeah.
she learns how to detect the different types of metals that are being burned, and then
Mhm.
like how strong it is. And
I did have these moments though with Kelsier where he was I didn't not like him, but I definitely was wary of him a lot of the time because I knew that he was trying to make himself sort of like a messiah figure. I feel like you see that from the beginning. And for the cause, I understood it. I feel like there were some moments where it just still didn't really feel right or like with the best intentions at heart. Like some of it, I feel like for Kelsier was selfish rather than for the greater good. So,
I felt wary, I guess, but it was more like he kept talking about this 11th like metal and all of this making things, bigger than they were. I just feel like he was lying so much, like he was believing his lie. Well, that's what it felt like before,
yeah.
everything happened. But we never truly like knew his final plan. I mean, we kind of did, but like not really. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like he definitely had that selfishness inside of him because of him trying to achieve Mare's dream of bringing the world back to being like green plants and the sunlight or whatever. So yeah,
Yeah.
I can definitely see where like you feel like he was selfish, but I will say it kind of pays off, I guess, in the later books. Everything that he did.
Should we say what the biggest Kelsier twist was?
He's dead,
Yeah,
guys.
Oh,
Lord and Savior Kelsier died.
yes, he
R.I.P.
dies versus the Lord Ruler in like this big courtyard in front of all these ska, right? So it's kind of this like all is lost moment. Our savior has been slain. But then there's the guy that used to be Lord Renew. He obviously can not necessarily shapeshift because there's like this whole thing that he has to do before where he has to does he eat the bones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
He's a mist wraith?
he's a very old Mistwraith. So
Oh,
I
okay,
think
okay.
Mistwraiths, after a couple like hundreds of years of being alive, they become these I don't remember what they're called. But basically these beings that can shapeshift into different people or like different things by taking their bones.
And so basically to keep this facade alive that Kelsier is kind of this savior being that he's here for the ska no matter what, he's going to rise up. This Mistwraith eats Kelsier's bones and basically turns into him, and people then look at that and they're like, "Oh my gosh, he cannot be slain. Like he's the savior still." And so it's just this whole I didn't know how to feel about that at first cuz I was like, uh
It was giving very like resurrected after 3 days.
for sure. I was like, "Oh god, he really just is trying to make himself a religious figure," which he did because now the ska are like believing that Kelsier just can't be torn down, and it's given them a second surge of hope to take down the Lord Ruler. So that was crazy.
Yeah. And it was like his plan all along to be killed, honestly. So people can see like they need something to believe in. That's why he kept asking Sazed like about the what the strongest religion or people's strongest beliefs and what made them believe, and it was having someone to believe in. And so they're like, well, I guess I'll be that person.
It all came full circle.
It did.
Were you guys like so shook by his death?
I was shook.
I I mean the first time I read it I was like there's no way like one of the main characters died just like this.
Yeah, I literally wrote, is he
But
really dead? I didn't believe it.
yeah, he's fucking gone.
Especially, I feel like I got a second wind of like, oh shit, is he actually dead? When Vin sees the Miss Wraith
Oh,
looking like him,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
and then she immediately is like, oh no, this is not Kelsier. This is just something that looks like Kelsier. And I was kind of like, ugh, I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm scared.
And then we find out that so Condra's work under contracts, and Kelsier passed on that contract to Vin. So now this Condra, or Sir is his name, now works for Vin. But she tells him that he can't be using Kelsier's bones if this is gonna work.
And at first she's like, nah, I don't fucking want this. And everyone's like, no, girl, you do. This is crazy. Like, you want this. And she was like, okay, but eat someone else's bones because this Kelsier daddy look is not it for me.
So then after Kelsier dies, Vin gets this like surge of like wanting a vendetta against the Lord Ruler. Does anything happen in between those times?
Ellen was like, I don't want to be with you, blah, blah, blah. And then his dad was like, hey, we're leaving town now because the people are rebelling. And Ellen was like, no, I don't want to. And his dad was like, okay, stay. Good luck.
Yeah. He's like, sure, you can have my armies.
Yeah.
Sure.
He literally wants him to die. He does not care about his son.
And Elend really only did like the whole I don't want you Vin thing, or to him, Villette, because he had like basically a private inspector follow her and be like, yeah, she's not who she says she is. And he feels like kind of betrayed and is like, well, I don't know if I can trust her then. Is that really my Valette? And so he's like, get out of here. I don't want you anymore.
And that's the same night that they send the assassins after him.
And Vin still is like, I'm gonna save him though.
Yeah, and then we get the cool fight with Sean and Vin. She kills like 3 Mistborns because there's multiple of them, and then she ends up killing Sean as well. And that's when she gets back to the thing, and they're like, she tells them that Shan was a Mistborn, and she's like, and you killed her, like a trained Mistborn? You killed a trained Mistborn? And she's like, yeah, I killed like 3 of them.
Yeah, I'm literally the strongest person ever.
And then she goes after the Lord Ruler.
Well, she was expecting to see the like younger looking guy that killed Kelsier.
That's
And then
right.
she's like put in this cage. I don't know if she was put in the cage before or after, but she sees this bald man like looking all
Deteriorating.
yeah, he's like ew, he's so icky. And the Inquisitors scare me. I hate all of them.
Did you
I'm
look up any
like,
fan art of the Inquisitors?
no, what do they look like? Let me see.
The Lord Ruler looks like a fucking testicle in any of the fan art I saw.
No, not when he's young.
Not when he's young, but when he's like all
Yeah.
disgusting, I was like, that is a ball sack.
Ew.
Yeah, the
Wait, let me see
Inquisitors
the
are scary.
Inquisitor. Ew, I hate them.
Because they've got like the spikes.
Ew, ew.
They're not real.
You're not real. That man is not real.
That's
I'm
a
so
lizard.
scared. I'm so scared.
I don't think I've seen fan art of old Lord Ruler.
Wait, is the Lord Ruler kind of cute?
We didn't go into detail. So the first time that Vin goes to Creedic Shaw, she steals a book.
Oh, yeah.
This book, we later find out that is a journal from the Lord Ruler, which Zayzed is translating for everybody to read, so they kind of learn about his history. And we get this whole story about a terraceman who was supposed to be the hero that was gonna save the world.
In the logbooks, Vin is like, wait, the Lord Ruler actually sounds like he's a really great guy. And then it like ends abruptly. And she asked Sazed, like literally in front of everybody, she was like, where's the rest of the translation? And he's like, girl, that's it. She's like, what do you mean? And then,
She gets so invested.
yeah. And then whenever she's like fighting the Lord Ruler, she realizes who he actually is. He's not the guy that was writing the logbook. He's actually Rashik. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah,
Who was a ferrochemist. The same thing that Sazed
Zayzed
is.
is. Yeah.
And so she's like, oh, that's how you have to like take his bracelets or whatever, because they get it from like their body. They like store all their power there.
So the way the ferrochemy works is that they carry these metals with them, and they can store stuff into them and then like retrieve it whenever they need it. And it could be things from like weight, so like they can make themselves lighter and store it into the metal, and then when they take it back they just make themselves super heavy or like super strong or super fast. um and in the Lord Ruler's case, it was he was basically making himself immortal because he was both a Mistborn and a ferrochemist. So he was using both powers to stay immortal and like stay young forever, basically. So the reason that Vin got like the balls to go up against the Lord Ruler at the end was because she was given the 11th medal, which Kelsier thought would defeat him. But then when she got there, it did nothing. She just saw like a
Yeah.
past version of the Lord Ruler, and like, was it multiple past versions or was it like a past and a future? I don't remember.
I couldn't tell. It was two versions, but like I don't know if it was like what he could have been
Yeah,
type of
I
thing.
think that's exactly what it is. It's like what he
Okay.
could have been if he would have taken a different path in life.
Mhm.
And she tried like stabbing it, and it was literally just like it was nothing. She like went through it and it didn't work, so then she ended up getting imprisoned. And then here comes Sazed again to the
Our
rescue,
man, our man.
My
and
man,
he
my
was
man,
like,
my man.
wait, who was your favorite character, Lauren? You didn't say.
I feel like Sazed is also mine because I almost Googled, does Sazed die in the later books? Because I really didn't want him to, but then I also didn't wanna get spoiled, so
Oh, you would have gotten spoiled hard.
yeah,
Hard.
the fact that I cared that much, like, Sazed almost reminded me of, oh my god, what is it in, ACOTAR? The
Oh, the cereal?
yeah,
That
Sazed kinda
not the
reminded me of a
cereal?
cereal.
Please, not the cereal.
Oh, kinda reminded me of the cereal from ACOTAR, so Sazed is my final answer.
But yeah, he comes in and he's like pretending to be weak, but in reality, he's like storing all this strength
Mm.
inside one of the
He's
metal
like,
mines.
"Arr."
And then, yeah, he just transforms and breaks Vin free.
Have you guys ever seen Black Adam?
Not
Like,
Dwayne The Rock,
like the
what?
rock. Uh-huh.
But have you seen that movie?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay, like whenever he's like a little weakling and then he
oh, at the
says
beginning,
Shazam and then he's
Shazam.
like Black Adam.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what I was picturing
I mean, yeah,
as
that's kind of
Sazed.
how it happened.
Yeah, exactly.
So, do you guys remember how Sazed got the power though? Because he couldn't have any metal on him when he was captured.
Yeah, he like swallowed it, right?
Yeah, because Vin had the idea. She's like, "What if I swallow your metal and burn it?" But nothing happened. But he was able to use his own metal.
Look at Vin making waves in the Allomancy, Ferromancy world. Woman in STEM.
She is a woman in
She
STEM.
is.
I'm saying.
I love her. That's why it was
Yeah.
like my top two characters. I love Vin so much. But, I think Sazed does beat her out a little bit.
Ooh, and we should talk about what Vin's brother did. We find out that Vin's brother is dead now,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
R.I.P. The whole time I was like, "Where's he?" I felt like he was gonna come out somehow,
It's revealed that despite all of Vin's brothers kind of like being mean to her,
beating her.
beating her, not really like looking out for her that much, like he was tortured by obligators, right? To try and find out where Vin was, and he would not give up her location, and he kept saying that she was dead, right? I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
he kept lying and saying that she was dead. So he does have kind of a little come up at the end where he kind of was a good brother, but like everything leading up was not really good.
And we find out that their dad was like a lead obligator.
And they fuck him up.
Oh yeah. The, was it the rest of the obligators that did, or was it the Inquisitors?
I think the Inquisitor Car. He was like, "Lord Ruler, who ask her who her father is." Blah blah blah, and
And she
then
literally just like, him, that guy. Why?
That
What's
guy.
that
wrong?
man.
That man. Y'all didn't know? And everyone's like, what?
Yeah, because the obligators are in charge of the Steel Ministry, but at the end, with that, they convince the Lord Ruler to give the Steel Ministry to the Inquisitors instead.
But then what happens to the Inquisitors?
Oh yeah, we find out who's still alive.
Marsh.
Marsh.
Marsh is still alive, and
He's a
he,
little scary now.
yeah, he.
Yeah,
I
a little
mean,
bit.
yeah, he becomes an Inquisitor, and he knows their weakness. They have multiple spikes in their body, not just the one in their eyes, and there's one in the back, right, and that's the one where you pull it, they die.
Yeah,
How does Vin defeat the Lord Ruler in the end?
attacking his bracelets. Taking
Yeah,
his
his
bracelets.
bracelets.
Yeah, but remember what the rule about Allomancy is, that you can't push metals that are in between flesh or inside people, but somehow she's able to do it.
Oh yeah.
How whenever she uses Allomancy, the mist kind of swirls around her,
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
do that for anybody else.
Some little
Like some
foreshadowing.
foreshadowing. So yeah, she's able to
Yeah.
push the metals out of his arms that were attached to his arm that were keeping him young, and he just started deteriorating and becoming old again. And do we remember what he says right before she kills him?
Oh, you don't know what I do for mankind because they made that a big deal in the epilogue.
He wasn't as bad as people think he was.
he basically alluded to, like, you think I'm bad? Like, I have been low-key saving you guys from something way bigger that you have no idea about. They make it very ominous.
And he sure was.
Jesus. Okay, shush. Shush you.
Dang. Should I buy book 2 then? I'm waiting for it on Libby. I already put my hold in, but like there's 15 people ahead of me, so
I
Okay.
feel like you should read it sooner rather than later so that you don't forget stuff.
Oh, I
Mm.
agree. Okay.
But now you can just keep re-listening to this episode.
True. The epilogue, it doesn't end with Vin going back to Elend
Yeah.
and they just like hug and kiss.
I don't think they kiss, they just hug, I think.
No, they don't kiss. They don't kiss.
Trust
But
me,
it's
I was waiting for it. They only hugged.
because Ellen was like, "I think I wanna kiss you now," like, in the middle of the book, "I think I wanna kiss you now," and she was like, "No, you don't." And I was like, "You know what? I'm glad they didn't kiss because she is a minor, guys. She's a minor."
Oh, it's fantasy, it's fine.
I know, but, like, I'm glad they didn't kiss. But is he, like, now the ruler of Luthadel or whatever?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And that's what a couple of them had said. They were like, "Really? We just did all that only for a nobleman to still rule over the Ska?" And everyone was kind of like, "Well, at least it's Elend. Like, he seems
Yeah,
like a
he's a
good
good
guy."
guy.
Yeah, he's like for the people as much as a nobleman can be, having not dealt with any of that Ska lifestyle. But
And now they gotta figure out how to run a city.
I will be continuing the series,
Yes!
obviously.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, I'm
Wait,
so
everyone's
excited.
well, I guess Lauren's rating and then my rating.
Yes, let me know. Obviously, mine's a 5-star.
I'm giving it a solid 4.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
solid
okay,
4. Yep.
okay. That makes me so happy.
I feel like I know Rose's rating for sure.
Rose?
I
What it
gave it 5 stars.
Yes,
I loved
yes,
it.
yes,
That's
I
why
knew it.
it was actually so hard to like not tell Carlos anything because I was like too excited, you know, and trying to keep everything in.
I wanted to talk to you about it so bad.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It was painful to keep it in, but I feel like it was worth it that you didn't know.
It was good. It was a good pick. You finally got us to
Yes.
read it.
Yes. And I'm so glad you guys are continuing.
Yes, very good.
And I don't know if I've told you guys about the eras that he's doing with Mistborn. So have you guys, you know how there's Mistborn era 1, which is this trilogy. There's Mistborn era 2, which I think takes place, I want to say 300 years later.
Oh.
And technology has now advanced because the reason it had it in the 1,000 years that the Lord Ruler was ruling was because he didn't want it to, obviously. But they had the knowledge, so I think like it advances pretty far, and now it's kind of like Western. So now guns exist, so that's pretty interesting with with the magic. And then he's gonna do the third era, which I think he said he's gonna start writing next year, which I think it's gonna take place in like 1980s type of vibe.
Okay,
Ooh.
80.
So now it's like getting more to modern, and then the fourth era is gonna be like cyberpunk, and then the fifth era is gonna be sci-fi, and they're all gonna be. I think they're all well. The second era is 4 books. I think the rest are gonna be trilogies.
Ooh, okay, Era's Tour.
Right?
Restore.
There you have it. And I finally read Carlos's note that he put at the beginning of my physical copy.
Aw, beautiful.
And the little Han photo card that I left in
Yes,
there.
I used it as a bookmark.
Great.
I was like, what page am I, Han?
All right, thank you guys so much for watching.
That's enough.
We're actually all quitting now. We're disbanding, okay?
How was that not a good joke? It was so good.
Also, wait, Carlos, let me give you a little shout out because one of my old coworkers, he texted me today and he said that he watched our YouTube videos and then he said Carlos is my favorite. So, there you go.
That makes me
Why
happy.
is Carlos everyone's fucking
I
bias?
literally
I'm
told
I
him,
don't
getting
I said,
know.
so
exactly. I told him, I said, Carlos is everyone's favorite.
Literally, my own
I feel like-
husband.
I feel like if I watched our podcast as an outsider, I wouldn't be my favorite. You know? I don't know
What
why.
kind of self-love is that, bitch?
Right? Love yourself.
Sorry. You're right.
Yeah, Lauren and I need to like pick it up.
Do something.
Yeah.
Flash the camera. I don't know. Shit.
This is for our Patreon, guys. I'm Patreon announcement.
Oh my god.
We all just do the show in bikinis. Okay, well, now this has ended the era of going through our 5-star reads, you guys. What's next for us? What was I made for?
Literally.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching our Mistborn episode. You can find me on Kingdom of Books on Instagram.
And you can find me at Lauren H. Wrights on Instagram and on YouTube under Read Anything Good if I, decide to post a video ever again. Who knows?
And you could maybe find me on Instagram and YouTube at Flower Reads a Lot and our podcast, Control Your Shelf, anywhere you get your podcasts.
Can't recommend this book enough, guys. Go read it. I know it's on your TBRs. It's on like pretty much everyone's that likes fantasy.
This is your motivation. This is your sign.
Yep.
Read it, guys. It was actually worth it.
Actually worth it.
You never know. You never know, right?
Do you guys smell that? Is someone burning copper?